Oh, there go a whole bunch of white men. I guess it's time for a message from Bob from Channel 8.
Reporting live from the Spirit Squad worldwide. Bob from Channel 8. Bob.
Unfortunately, they overturned affirmative action yesterday. Reporting live, Bob from Channel 8.
Reporting live from the Spirit Squad worldwide. Bob from Channel 8. Bob.
Okay, so affirmative action was put into place to allow diversity in predominantly Caucasian universities. And it got overturned yesterday to a lot of African American and minorities' dismays. Statistically speaking, especially like Harvard and Yale and Princeton and stuff like that, only harbor about a less than 30% minority rate.
What the fuck?
Okay, so the people that are becoming educated in the doctrinization or the indoctrinization of those institutions are vastly Caucasian. And affirmative action was set off into place to allow minorities, especially black people, the opportunity to receive the same type of education as their white counterpart. Well, as of yesterday, they have overturned it. I watched a debate on TV yesterday with two individuals that were attending a college. One of them was an Asian American who suggested that he was for it. He was okay with them not disclosing racial identity in the essays they write to be admitted into school. The African American counterpart of him on there was basically suggesting that, well, this is taken away from my experience as a minority individual. Why can't I reflect that in terms of me getting into college? My personal opinion about it is, okay, it might be a little controversial, and I hope I don't get canceled for this, but I feel like everybody should have equal consideration. I believe that we are now at a point in our history where I know the cards are not dealt correctly. You know what I'm saying? But I would rather you read my essay as a person and not a black person. I would rather you compare my essay to somebody else who you don't know what their ethnicity is either. Okay? That's what I would prefer. Because at this point, I can compete with you. At this point, I feel like minorities, they don't have the equal opportunities, but if you play the cards that you're dealt the correct way, you can compete with Caucasian people as of right now. You can compete with the majority right now. I'm not saying we all have that opportunity, though. I mean, we have to, look at neighborhoods. We have to look at, we have to micronize this situation. But I will tell you the truth. I feel like black people, especially, if you apply yourself, are brilliant. I don't give a fuck where you from, okay? I wasn't born with the diction that I have. I learned it, I know that we need education reform. I do know that we need a better magnetizing aspect to education that makes people want to actually educate themselves. But you got to keep in mind, and as I'm talking about this, the numbers are going down. That is so crazy to me. But you got to keep in mind, systematic racism is a thing. Black people weren't supposed to be free. We haven't been free that long. But I feel like right now we're at a place where I feel like these high school kids can compete with these other people. What I do feel like, though, is affirmative action was the bridge from segregation to now, right? But I also feel like we do need legislation that says just because you are a minority does not guarantee you a spot, because we have certain spots of a percentage to where you can get this level of education. You got to be able to compete. You got to be able to write an essay with verbiage and diction. And maybe not everybody can do that. I'm also thinking to myself that if you were to write an essay about your experience as an African American individual, it shouldn't be discarded just because you did that. I want to make sure that I'm understanding it the correct way. Okay, because I did do minute research on this topic yesterday. But I will say this. First, they started telling transgender people they can't go to the bathroom. Now they're having or revoking laws that could become discriminatory quite easily. You know what I'm saying? There's something on the Supreme Court right now that will make an employer be able to fire you because of your sexual preference. Is that going to be legal or is that not going to be legal? And as you guys know, we are on the precipice of a presidential campaign, so we're going to see a lot of radical, legislation becoming passed and things being on the docket. Affirmative action for me, though, it was good for its time, and now I feel like it is time for us to step up our education, okay? If you want to get rid of affirmative action, provide adequate education for low-income neighborhoods. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you're gonna take away a handicap to get more diversity, which is not scientifically proven, but I'll be honest with me, I can talk to anybody because of my college education. Anybody. You guys know I have a master's degree in communications from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and the diversity factor of that location plays into who I became. Okay, so I can't, give you a statistic on this, but diversity is needed so that racism can die. Diversity is needed so I can get some light-skinned dick up my ass. So diversity is necessary, even though there's not a scale to meter that. But the abolition of slavery should let you know, and the abolition of Jim Crow, which is actually, or it was on the docket in the South not too long ago, to come back. Jim Crow is where we have separate but equal everything. I'm not here for any of this. I really feel like we are living in a much more progressive time, that some of this trivial legislation is because of the ignorance of the white man, and that's not racist. That's just me saying what it was. White men made the laws in a time period when a lot of certain things were going on that is like not in existence today. I'm gay as hell broadcasting to 2,000 people right now, whereas back in the day, I would have been burned at the stake, quite literally, for my religion as well as my sexuality. Pink triangles would have been on me in the Holocaust. I would have been burned at the stake if I was anywhere near Salem. I say that to say this: we're in a progressive time. I'm not going to say I don't care about this because I am older and it does not affect me directly. I'm 33. I've already graduated college. I'm good, right? But for the gay black kid in the back of the classroom who's not getting educated adequately, affirmative action is something that could have benefited him if he wanted it to. But I feel like we're more progressive right now. And I feel like we need to, instead of banning things and restricting things, right? I think we need to pass more progressive legislation, more legislation that is inclusive, more legislation that makes us feel united as human beings. It's, why are we still having these conversations? I just don't get it. Like, why are we still having these talks, But hey, I'm going to be running for politics in my 40s. I've already determined that. This after I get my psychology degree when I'm 35. I'm going to give myself 2 more years before I go back to school. And hopefully we can make a change. Hopefully I'm making a change today. But you can't trust the laws to do it. You just got to focus in on your reality and what you want to conjure from that. And no matter what the land of the world is doing or the law of the land is doing, you can make a way for yourself. I'm a living example of that.